December 2024, a date that resurrected a ghost from South Korea's past. For the first time in 4 decades, martial law made a dramatic return, declared by President Yoon Yeol. The reason? Escalating threats from North Korea and claims of domestic sabotage. This sudden move left the nation stunned, and though it was nullified within hours, it has reignited debates about the fragility of South Korea's democracy and its enduring authoritarian shadows. The announcement struck like lightning. Martial law, a term long buried in South Korea's political archives, was back in the headlines. Yet, just as swiftly as it emerged, the opposition-controlled parliament stepped in, nullifying the decree and averting what could have been a major crisis. But the incident leaves us with a burning question. How stable is South Korea's democracy? Could it still be haunted by the authoritarian ghosts of its past? Martial law isn't just a tool for emergencies. In South Korea, it carries a heavy historical burden. Over the decades, it has been used not just to restore order, but to silence dissent, tighten control, and suppress freedoms. To understand the weight of President Yoon's decision, we must rewind to key moments in South Korea's history when martial law reshaped its political landscape. The story begins in 1948, just after South Korea's founding. Facing a communist-led uprising on Jeju Island, President Syng Min-rhee invoked martial law to maintain stability. While order was restored, it came at a heavy human cost. Martial law returned in 1952 during the Korean War, once again as a tool to manage internal unrest amidst external threats. But it was under Park Chung-hee, South Korea's longest-serving president, that martial law evolved into a weapon of authoritarian rule. Following his 1961 coup, Park wielded martial law to crush protests, silence dissent, and cement his power. The most infamous episode came in 1972 when Park used martial law to extend his presidency and restrict political freedoms, tightening his grip on the country. Park's assassination in 1979 gave hope for change, but that hope was short-lived. His successor, Chun Doo-hwan, staged a military coup and imposed martial law once again in 1980. Chun's declaration led to one of the darkest chapters in South Korea's history, the Gwangju Uprising. In May 1980, pro-democracy protests in Gwangju were brutally suppressed by military force, leaving hundreds dead. The uprising became a symbol of the nation's struggle for democracy. Martial law under Chun wasn't just about Gwangju. It extended nationwide, banning political activity and stifling dissent until growing demands for democracy forced its repeal in 1981. The transition to democracy in 1987 seemed to mark the end of martial law as a political weapon. For nearly 40 years, South Korea thrived as a beacon of Asian democracy. Martial law became a relic of the past, or so it seemed. Until 3rd December 2024. When President Yoon Yeol's proclamation shattered that assumption. While Yoon's declaration was overturned within hours, the move has reopened old wounds. It has sparked fresh debate about the delicate balance between governance and authoritarian tendencies in a country still shaped by its past. The question now is whether South Korea's democracy is strong enough to withstand such challenges, or whether the specter of martial law will continue to loom in its shadow.